Thank you for joining us today for the September township budget hearing to begin with. So we'll call this meeting to order. And we'll start with the roll call, please.
Supervisor Hewitt.
Here.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes, here.
Trustee Page.
Here.
Assessor Trowbridge. Commissioner Young.
Great, then we'll go with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then we have the public comment, and you can start in person. Sorry, if you had a public comment to begin with, you're scheduled later on in the
In the regular scheduled meeting, so you don't, she doesn't have anything to say right now.
Okay, thank you. Just trying to give you a chance. Mr. Galloway, do you have anything, or Mr. Baker?
Yeah, I feel like I'm beating on the same horse, again. And, I know you're gonna be considering, budget revisions today. And amending the budget, and, my understanding, and I could be mistaken, is that you have two options. And one option, will require, a revisiting of the budget in the future, and the other option is intended to address all the budget needs. And I really don't care which one you pass. I just don't want township to get into trouble as far as coming to a point where some of the funds run short of money and the township is not able to function properly. And I hope you take that into consideration, no matter which option you choose. And if necessary, do whatever necessary follow-ups are required. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you. And this is Priscilla.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, so- No problem.
Thank you. And then Mr. Baker. Okay, thank you, sir. Then online, there's Lisa Rose. Is there a public comment there? Okay.
No.
Okay, thank you. And then online to the document, or to the online public comment, there's one, and Clerk Paulitz has it.
This is from Marianne Vasquez. Hello, I am Marianne Vasquez, a resident of Lisle. I was in management for about 20 years, and in all that time, I never saw an employee disrespected as much as in the September 25th meeting. In that public meeting, the board and the clerk discussed placing a second manager in essentially the identical role as an operations manager. The title was different, but the duties were identical to what I have what I have seen, having been a volunteer at the food pantry and watching meetings. I have been able to figure out Gerald Wolf's job description, although operations manager kind says it all. Are none of the trustees or the clerk familiar with the day-to-day workings of the township office? Are none of the trustees on this board familiar with basic HR protocol? Don't they understand the workings of a simple 7 or 8 person staff? There is no organization that would have 2 managers overseeing a team of 7 or 8 people. What a colossal waste of taxpayer funds. You all were planning on spending an additional $75,000 on a second administrator, or were you planning on replacing Gerald in a public meeting with him sitting in the room? That is an HR nightmare waiting to happen. After watching that September 25th, I have no idea why you would consider yourselves at all qualified to form a personnel committee. Frankly, I was surprised the assessor and highway commissioner did not attempt to stop the absurd discussion. They should know better. Diane was not present at the meeting, neither was Barry. I hope they will prevent the hiring of a second administrator. Common decency dictates you would not have this discussion in public in front of the affected employee. That's from Marianne Vasquez.
Okay, and that's all of the online public comment and the in-person public comment. So,
Sorry, I don't know if I'm out of order here or not, but you mentioned, I wasn't at the meeting, obviously. You mentioned the 25th.
Right,
That
that's
doesn't,
today,
but that wasn't when that meeting happened, right?
correct.
When was that meeting? Does anyone know?
It was Thursday,
the
right?
14th.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and the supervisor's report really is gonna be a proposal, really just talking about the things that I'm trying to change or proposing, or frankly, I'm just letting you know about them. So that we're all super aware of the decisions that we're making as we're making them, in order to prevent, frankly, a shutdown. None of these would be what I would normally, like what would normally be given in a normal budget would be changes to services or anything like that. This is just trying to keep things open. And then also understanding that budgets can have a 10% line item change and contingencies can be moved. But I think transparency demands the actual numbers instead of subtracting cushions and expecting contingencies at the start. So timeline perspective, if payroll is not updated, and I'm sure that we're going to start the next budget process soon, but there'll be a township shutdown. I cannot change any of the things that would enable that not to happen, so we would need to change that as soon as possible. Most townships in DuPage that passed the mental health referendum are also loaning out money to them in order to start a contractual relationship with providers to help get mental health treatment. This is new. This is extremely innovative and will be a true life-changing benefit we could offer the township residents. We can't do that without having that in our budget. I expect that this will be coming out shortly. There's been a change in state programs that has left the most vulnerable in need of utility and water assistance out. If this isn't updated, this will be immediately shut off. Our income needs can be updated. The supervisor's compensation will be necessary to reset to the statutory number. We know that we have an increase in insurance due to the cost of the 21 Ogden building in our transportation program increase. Those bills are going to be coming up in the next month, 2 months at the most. We know that there may be a few months of utilities that may need to be covered due to gaps in leases. It would be helpful to have the money to put aside for it. As a landlord, we know there will be costs associated with maintaining the building. We should build them in so that we are ready when they happen. Police presence will be several thousand and should make it to the budget. Under administration, there's been an increase in accounting bills, and we expect to get the NIU bill within the month. We could run out of money on this within the next month. We can really use a case management software expansion in order to better serve the township. Right now, we only have one license for visual GA, and only one person has the ability to do case management like it should be done in this day and age. Our legal fees have increased with the trustees new firm and our previous issues that need to be resolved. IMRF past issues and current needs will need to be paid as soon as possible. We need to have that in the budget to do that. It is currently not in it. We're doing more passports than ever in their cost of doing business. So those were just the pieces that we're trying to change, again, just to keep things open, not expand services or anything like that. I see Barry has proposed the ordinance number 2023-006, and those encompass the building costs and
It's
then the
3 minutes, just so you know.
Okay, so I had moved on to the part of the discussion of, and this is the public budget hearing.
Perfect.
So again, this is the one that Barry had introduced with the 4 changes in total being the building right here at 10-1308, adding in 1,800,000, and then in general assistance to allow for utility, sewer, and gas help. So those are the 4 total changes that were added in. Barry, Trustee Robinson, do you have anything?
No, thank you. So, we passed our original ordinance back in the end of June. And then the next month, 3 weeks later, we purchased the building. Which required an immediate change to the budget, or the budget ordinance, appropriations ordinance, so we could purchase the building. We had a meeting on August 3rd, where the only change that was for the 1.8 million to purchase the building, that was approved. I had envisioned, as part of the finance committee, working with the board and all the elected officials, to do a mid-year review as to what we had spent, what we should project for the next 6 months. And the supervisors talked about a few of those categories. We really haven't had that discussion as a board yet, or in the finance committee or in the personnel committee, as to what we envision the next 6 months looking like for the township. So I feel it's a little premature to incorporate the changes that the supervisors asking for. It requires a larger discussion and incorporating the input from the township as well, from residents. What I did note when I did go through line item by line item with the finance department and the operations manager last week, and to the supervisor's comment, there are 3 budget lines in general assistance where we have already spent more than the budgeted amount. If we do not change those, we cannot make additional payments to our residents. And you've got them flagged there. Yeah, so it's the utilities assistance 202104, projected or proposed raising from 10,800 to 25,400. Sewer and water budget was 540. Projected or requested increase to 8,000, and then natural gas is 6484, which is budget item 2106, raise it from 6480 up to 8,000, because we're already close to that. Now, LIHEAP is going to kick in soon, so we're going to the state will, whoever funds LIHEAP is going to be providing those funds. But in those specific areas, if this is not adjusted now, we cannot make a payment tomorrow. So as much as I want to focus this budget, this changes the appropriation really with the focus of being able to purchase the building, it made sense to, subject to agreement and voting and approval by the board, to add those 3 changes in as well. Then recognizing to the supervisor's comment that we do have to invest some more time as a board through our committee work to try to come up with what a revised budget looks like for the next 6 months. So I would propose that we accept amendment or appropriations ordinance 2023-006 with the already tentatively approved in August, the 1.8 million for the building purchase, and the additional 3 budget line items that we talked about. And that's represented in this ordinance document. And so that's my point. Any discussion around that? Trustee.
Hold this up in.
Okay, please take your time.
I was just gonna ask you, so this last budget time, we increased the amount, correct?
Overall,
Yes, from the last, and I was gonna look
Yes,
as
we
to
did.
what that amount was
so the general assistance increase is 25,000. I think I have it.
from the previous
From the-
budget.
From the appropriations ordinance, yes, correct. So the 1.8 million, we'd already talked about in August.
Yeah.
The increase across those 3 budget lines is 23,580.
So that is what you're looking at right now to increase,
Right,
right?
so that we
What
can,
did we increase it at the last budget meeting from the previous year?
it was, sorry,
You know what I'm asking?
I'm not sure.
So this is a mid-year increase because we're spending more,
Yeah.
the need is more. But I believe at the last budget hearing, we increased it from the previous year by
So-
a certain amount. So that's my question,
So
what number that is.
If you look
Thank
at
you.
the top here, we have an actual years in the past, and really the main piece to note in general assistance is COVID. And it's governmental subsidies therein, because there's a lot of state and national programs that were frankly meeting a lot of this help, so we were not. Which meant that frankly, from a budgeting perspective, for example, with utilities, we, when you look at in the past, with our actual utility assistance, there was in 2017, we were at 17,000. In 2019, we were at 19,000. It dropped precipitously because of COVID.
Right.
And so part of this was we weren't sure how to time when it would come back, when some of those subsidies would end timing wise. So when you see this in the fiscal year 21-22, which was before we were budgeting, the previous administration budgeted 28,000, because they were looking at previous balances. And we budgeted the next year at 10,000 because we were still getting the positive benefits of the state subsidies. Does that make sense?
It does.
So
Yes.
you can see the difference, and with water in particular, LIHEAP used to cover water, now it does not. So, and there's. Yes, so that's where the history is, and there's a full line item for every single year with actual versus.
Could you go back that way? Remember that? The new, most recent. There, thanks.
Sorry, so let me answer your question a different way. So we approved a budget ordinance, the board approved a budget ordinance in end of June. Because of the building purchase, we said, okay, we have to make an immediate amendment so we can buy the building. That was the 1.8 million. That's really all we're trying to achieve today.
I know.
Right, and then, but as part of, because time has gone on, these are 3 specific budget lines in general assistance, where if we do not amend those lines, we cannot write more checks to support our residents. So
Today.
today or tomorrow, right? So that's all we've looked at is what do we need to purchase the building, and okay, where is the risk to funding for services to the township? And those are those 3 budget lines. So that's the only thing that I'm proposing is different from the budget that was passed in, or the ordinance was passed in June. And then the one we discussed in August was just the 1.8 million to fund the building. So this is,
I understand.
okay, cool,
Just wanna
thanks.
Gauge the dollar amount.
I understand, you're right, so it's about 25,000. There does have to be a larger discussion, as I
Yeah.
said, though, right? Like, because we've had 6 months of operation, the supervisor indicated we do have, we've exceeded, we're close to exceeding budget for our professional services. New attorney firm, I think we still need to figure out what is anticipated in terms of spend there. So I think we have to look at a number of budget lines. So all I really want to do today is make sure that my objective, but I'm sure when I said as an opinion and objective is, let's make sure we get the ordinance approved, or subject to everyone's approval and voting approval, so that we can purchase the building. That's what this exercise is for. And then to the earlier comment, Jerry's correctly right, Mr. Galway's correctly right, we will have to have a subsequent public hearing for a budget adjustment.
For a lot of them.
For other, right,
Open and
funded, right.
functioning and a variety of-
It just feels premature to do that today because we haven't had a broader discussion
Agreed.
across all the board members.
Agreed. Still, we're approaching the time when we're about to do 2 levies, and then we would immediately start in then the next, and frankly, we wouldn't be able to wait because of some of these items that are about to go up this month, potentially, like out of date this month. So we would need to start the budget discussion like literally this month,
Yeah.
next start. Any other discussion? So what I would note though, for this month, the things that could run out this next month would be, say we were to need to have, we would ideally want to settle with some of the IMRF past issues. The budget line item where that's going to come out of, I'm assuming is going to be out of the IMRF supervisor and out of different IMRF
I'm
accounts.
not sure about that.
Okay,
Well, yeah,
where do you all expect the past budget or past IMRF pieces to be coming out of?
Sorry, just in the interest of, I don't know that we need to discuss that to get approval on,
okay, yeah, and I agree, and I'm not sure I can answer, I'm not sure.
Right.
Mrs. Pappas is ready to answer until she gets into the books and see exactly what's wrong.
right? So,
I do have a round number right now, though.
okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
but
Is there a motion on the floor to pass the budget as amended?
No,
No, I haven't heard it.
Not yet. I just wanted to make it clear that there's, within the month, it takes a month to pass a budget. So even if we were to start it tomorrow, then we wouldn't be able to say we came to a resolution with some of the IMRF pieces. We would need to at least have it in the budget so we can agree to resolve it. The other piece that I'm at least saying is within the next month to run out is administration, just because if accounting, and we get our NIU bill at the same time, then we're out. Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the
I actually need you to explain what you just said, if you don't mind. What do you mean we're out of money? If we have two bills coming in, we're out of money?
to pay those two bills. So, for example, with the IMRAP, say we come to a decision as to how we wish to do that, and if it's not within the line item, budgeted line item, we can't pay the bill. So, again, that's why we need to be aware when it comes to accounting, and those two are the ones that are gonna come up the fastest.
When the work is complete, I'm sure the report will be made and then trustees will be able to move on.
Okay, great. And then, but then we would still need to have that be in the budget in order for those disbursements to be dispersed. Is that correct, Priscilla?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to make sure that when we want to resolve this issue, we have it in the right budget item to resolve. Okay,
So I'll make a motion to approve. I will make a motion to approve the amended 2023-2024 budget and appropriation ordinance, number 2023-005. I'm sorry, 006, my bad. I'll start over. I will make a motion to approve.
Trustees, sorry to interrupt.
sorry.
Can you, when you make your motion, can you please be, say the line items and what is being amended, the 4 line items,
Gotcha.
just for the record?
Then I have to go back to my other one.
So sorry.
No, it's- I will make a motion to approve ordinance number 2023-006. Line item 10-1308. Capital improvements,
By how much?
by 1.8 million.
Thank you.
And then line number 20-2104. Raise at 14,600. Line 20-2105. For sewer water, raise it by 7,460. Line item 20-2106 for natural gas, raise it by $1,520.
I will second.
and then a roll call vote, or any other discussion? Roll call vote, please, call it.
Trustee Page?
Yes.
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Supervisor Hewitt?
Yes.
Right, thank you.
Okay, the budget has been passed. And then, or sorry,
No.
sorry, that it's been accepted and approved into we're gonna pass it at the next meeting shortly. Sorry. So because this is
I understand, just looking at your agenda item, it's listed as only 5, I don't know if that causes a problem or not.
Yeah,
We just
I saw
approved
that too.
006.
Oh, it's okay, it's a scrivener's error,
Fine,
because the trustee said it,
fine, thank
the
you.
record, it's good.
Cool, good.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll wait to the end. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Thank you, trustee Page and trustee Robinson, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Great, we're going to the next meeting then. Okay, and we'll call,
sorry, is that a different, do you need a different Zoom or no?
no, it's
Okay.
just pausing.
Fine, thank you.
Actually, and then it'll stop the recording.
Very, by the way.
For so.
Nice to meet you.
I will not go back yesterday.